We'll see if anybody wants to hang today. Hello, Colin. Hello, Chris. Hello, Ewan. This channel is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. Warning, the content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The languages, themes, attitudes, and personality of this presenter is not suitable for anybody's children. Topics discussed will not center on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just happens trains are running. Any similarity between character, situation, trains, and intelligent thoughts is strictly a coincidence, and any rebroadcast or transmission of the stream without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. Remember the rules for your layout. Number 1, it's your layout. Do what you want. Number 2, do not tell someone else what to do unless they ask you what to do. And number 3, most importantly, do not call out, mock, criticize, or insult another channel on your channel. And happy Friday, everybody. Hope you survived the week. If you didn't, you wouldn't be here, right? So hopefully your week wasn't as crazy as some have been. Let me go ahead and greet everybody, even though I did. Colin, always awesome to see you. Chris, one of the ones that I have to see, otherwise it's just not right. Ewan, another longtime friend of the channel. And let's see, Brian, great to have you here. And Joseph, I am okay. It's been a crazy week, lots of ups and downs, a lot of crazy stuff, but that's life, right? Let me see, whom else? Somerset Andy, nice to have you here, sir. And did anybody else come in? Lee, hi Lee, how are you? So Tom Couples is here. Nice to have you, Tom. Just stepping into the room. Welcome all. How is everyone on that side of the camera doing? I hope you're well. It's been a crazy week. Good news, bad news. I think the good outweighs the bad. Welcome Dwight Curley. Nice to have you here. Let's go ahead and knight you. And I declare you a knight of the Rhomboid table. Before we get to running the trains, the week that was. Obviously, last week was the end of the Matt Clark stuff. A couple of people gave me some praise on their channels. I've had a little jump in subscriptions. I think I've gained 10 in the last week, so somebody gave me a shout out. So whoever it was, thank you. And then I did a Saturday just to run the trains because I think you guys picked up on it. I was very uptight about ending that series. I put a lot of, a lot of work, okay? But let's not feel like I was running a jackhammer for 12 hours or something like that, okay? I put a lot of work, but it was all voluntary. I was willingly doing it because it's an entertainment for me. And it's weird to have it over. I mean, all this week I'm like, I'm not preparing anything. Even setting up here, I don't have a video to load up. I don't have a song to load up. I don't have a cartoon to load up. It's going to be the first time since, I don't remember the last time I did a Friday night Outsider Insider and didn't have some kind of stupid thing to premiere. Anyhow, the good news. Let's start with the good news. Some of you know that I talked about it on a couple of live streams I did last week. Plumbers came in and found a hole in the pipes underneath my house that have to be fixed. They are allowing mud and dirt to get in, and that backs up the kitchen plumbing. And it's only the kitchen. Apparently our kitchen sink has a dedicated drain line. So it's only affecting that one. And the original plumber came in and he assumed that it was under my Bremen side of my table. My right side as you're looking at it, it probably works for you, but it's mirror image to me. If I go this way, this side of the table, and that I was going to have to tear all this out. I was going to have to rip down the table, take out all the track and everything. That was really, let's face it, that was depressing. And so it was, they came in with the early this week, and we've had everybody here. We've had the bug exterminator here this week. We had plumbers here this week, and we had the yard sprayers here this week, and insulation people here this week. Anyhow, so the good news. The hole where the one plumber thought it ran was not where it runs. It runs, basically they have to dig up my daughter's room, that room right there with the little artwork that's been there for 20 years. We've never taken it down. One of my kids did it a long time ago, and we just left it there. So the good news is I don't have to take down the trains. Yes, great news. Don't have to take down the trains. Bad news, it's going to cost about $4,000 to do. And that's an estimated cost because he's expecting that he's only going to have to drill through 4 to 6 inches of concrete. When we had to redo the weeping system about 5 years ago now, in the basement, it's more than 4 inches of concrete. And that means it's going to take him longer to do. Although he says he can do it in one day, where I have to rip out all the floor in there and get all the furniture out of there so they can get in there and get to it, which is fine. It'll be a hassle, but it's fine. But he says they can do it in a day. But they also have to trace. So again, right now it looks like it's a foot, which means they'd have to go 2 or 3 foot to fix it. But they have to trace, and if they keep finding weak parts, they have to keep digging, which means it could turn into a monster disaster area. So it starts at about 3,500. I'm assuming it'll go up. So that's, and the problem is, nobody, and Joyce really hates it if I talk money and financing on live streams, but we've been able to save up that money. I mean, part of that's my trip to Germany money. We're not going, but it's also this is going to kill my model train reserves. Now I've got my ICE4 money set aside, but I was looking at doing some things, and this kind of kills any big plans. It also killed my remodeling our bedroom. That was going to be my summer household project. Was we were going to remodel our bedroom. We had already been shopping for new flooring, redoing the entire bathroom in our bedroom, and that's out the window. Hey, Andrew T, Steve Childers, nice to have you guys here. So the good news, I don't have to tear down any of the table for the plumbing. The bad news is it's going to cost a fortune, and it's going to drain my train resources, so that's not fun. We also have another job that our local energy company came in, and they were giving free tours of the house to show you where you're losing money. And as feared, they found that basically the insulation, which had been blown or paper insulation for the 60-some-year-old house, had eroded. So all the walls in our our first floor, they have no insulation left in them anymore, which is why our heating cost and cooling cost are so high. And they're going to come in, and it's going to be about $1,500 to, they're going to do spray foam insulation inside. So cost-wise, that's not bad. The negative is they drill all these holes, because they got to do it in between every set of studs. So every 16 inches, they put about a 2.5-inch hole, which means I have to go through, mud it, paint it, and hope I can patch it up, because it's plaster, not drywall. Drywall wouldn't be an issue, but it's plaster. So plaster is a little trickier. Fortunately, I know how to do it, but it's still tricky when you're drilling holes, large holes, 2.5-inch holes in plaster, and then trying to patch it and match it. And by the way, it's a patterned plaster. That's the hard part. So anyhow, that was my weekend. Other things happen. I don't know that Joyce would want me talking about her brother. His birthday was the 18th, and we celebrated it on Wednesday. Everybody in town went over to his house on Wednesday. Now, if you don't know, this was already announced. Her brother turned 62. He's dying of ALS. He has Lou Gehrig's disease. If you're in America, maybe you've heard of it that way. And so it was a very, very emotional. We just moved to a new house, and lots of things are going on. We just moved him to a new house. Actually, they did. I didn't do much. I went over and did all his books in his library for him, because that's what they trust me with. So that's just kind of tough, because we don't know how many. He doesn't have many left. It's a window of 2 to 5, I think they said, and he's on 3. So anyhow, that's the week that was. Again, I want to thank those of you who were really supportive of the Matt Clark episodes. Thank you very much for all the support and the cheering on. I'm taking a mental break. Actually, I started working on a couple of new songs, but it's been a busy week. It's end of the school year. That's the last thing. It's end of the year, so we're getting all the makeup work, all the grades in, and preparing for exams next week. Next week is exams, and then I'm done for a couple of months. But that's my life. The nice thing is, this year's been almost, it's been crazy year, but we're doing that. So let's get some trains running. I've just taken a break from too much creative writing, because one of the things I've got people asking me, I even got some emails and some stuff on Facebook asking me, when am I going to do a sequel? When am I going to do a sequel? And part of the problem is when I do the sequel, I can't bring out the same tired jokes. It's got to be a new idea. And, Up Nellie's Pass was a great joke. The Black Mamba Up Nellie's Pass was a great joke. Ran with it, but I can't bring those same jokes back. They would get tired real fast. It's got to be new ideas, new things to do. Obviously train related to justify putting it on my channel here. So let's get everybody running today. And we'll let you see who's crawling. Hey! March West Junction is here. Hello, Andrew. Nice to have you here, sir. I don't think I've missed anybody else. Andrew T and Andrew M are here. March West Junction with his awesome layout and channel. So what do we got running today? Well, I only change a couple of trains each week. And but I do have all my double deckers are out. So those of you that like the double deckers, all three of them are running today. Obviously, the ICE3 is running today again because it's been so long since I've run them, and the Railjet, the Austrian Railjet, is still out and running. So I got my couple of my high-speed trains. Speaking of which, I heard from my train guru in California, ACO Trains. He says he said last weekend that it'll be less than 2 weeks and I'll have my other two ICEs back. I'll have my ICE1 and ICE2. He's just waiting for the decoders to be shipped in. And so I will have, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, hopefully within the next 2 weeks, I'll have 4 ICEs because I'll be getting the 2 back from California. And I still didn't get an email this week, but no shop is listing them. The American distributors say they're shipped, they're at the shops, but none of the shops are saying they got the ICE4s in. But mine is reserved and the money is set aside waiting for it. I did, and this is crazy, with all the money that we now have to throw out and getting the house insulated and getting the plumbing fixed. And like I said, we had this money saved up for our trip to Germany. Since we're not going to Germany again, we've got the money. It's just going to take even my train money to zero, mostly. But I saw a locomotive on sale, and I wanted it. And Merklin's releasing a much better version of it later this year. But Joy said, go ahead and buy it now. And I was like, well, do I get the cheapo one, or do I wait till end of the year and get the Merklin one? My brain says wait for the Merklin one, but getting it now and then getting it upgraded, I could do that too. We'll see. Hey, Tim JD, it's about time you got here. Missing you. Welcome in, everybody. So those are the trains we're running. And so also I switched out and I've got the little Nordwestbahn running. So you got the metronome still, although he's on a different lane. We got the double-decker Regiobahn going. They'll be coming in the 11-lane view here in a second. Let me get to that. So I've got the double-decker there. There's the ICE3 coming at you right now as you're looking. Yes, Andrew T. I have seen they've got both. They've got Taurus, but they've got Vectron locomotives going as well. The Vectron, which is being labeled the 193 in Germany and Austria, it's got different names depending on what country you go to, or different code numbers, but it's basically the 193 in Germany and Austria. Yeah. A lot of them are going Vectrons. Deutsche Bahn has a bunch of Vectrons coming in to do their passenger service, the Regio passenger service, and maybe even taking over some of the IC high speed. Not the ICEs, obviously, but the ICs. But that'll be 2-3 years down the road. But I do have the metronome going, and I had the Nordwestbahn. And I talk about these all the time, but I set something up here that maybe I can babble about. So I've got it here for you. Oh, I've got the mic way up high, I guess, after last week. Anyhow, again, I don't know how well any of you know maps of Germany, but both of these, Hamburg is up in the north of both of these maps. But the map on the left shows Nordwestbahn. And Nordwestbahn is based in Bremen. Bremen, which is southwest of Hamburg. And then it runs to all these areas you see here. There's basically 2 loops. One is in the Ruhr Valley area. but its main loop is Bremen to Osnabrück and this area here. So all this in red, that's Nordwestbahn, northwest of Germany. And then the metronome is in and out of Hamburg. So Hamburg on the right-hand side. So there's one that goes to Bremen, and then the other line goes down to Hanover, with one particular line goes through the Harz Mountains down to Göttingen. So, so these are trains that both Joyce and I have ridden on many, many times because we live near Bremen when we go to Germany, or at least when we did our student exchange program, and we always go back to the Bremen area. And then we always ride, almost always ride a metronome when we go up to Hamburg to go see Miniature Wonderland. And so that's a metronome there. Hey Luma, how are you? Ave. And again, for those of you who are curious and don't mind being told and told again, I want to change this camera real quick. Okay, that's good enough. But again, in Germany, the high-speed trains are white with a red stripe. The ICEs, which are the fastest ones, have control cabs and don't have locomotives. The ICs, with no E, like that one, have locomotives. The locomotive can be red or white with a red stripe. The locomotive itself can be red, but the cars will always be white with a red stripe. The double-deckers will have a white locomotive. The single-passenger cars will have a red locomotive. Cool. Yeah, I've been through Dusseldorf, but I've never actually stopped and looked around Dusseldorf. Well, there you go, Ewan, the railjet coming right at you in the camera there. Whoops. Whoops again. I'll get the right button yet. And you can see a couple other guys parked on the side there. You can see my Alex, who will be coming out probably next week. And you can see the Beethoven car staring at you, and even a little bit of the Czech railjet, which is parked right now. There's the railjet and the ICE-3 coming through. Now, of course, in reality, a railjet would never go through Delmenhorst, but ICE-3s will go through Delmenhorst all the time. Yeah, we call them control cabs or control cars in English. In German, we call them Steuerwagen, and I tend to refer to them as Steuerwagen. I tend to refer to them. And we'll go to the multicam here. But yes, this week, on top of everything else, was really weird. Now, most of you know my daughter made this t-shirt, and we will be... She's got a couple other designs we're trying to finalize, and then I'm gonna put some stuff on Teesprings and see what sells. But she's working on a design for my redesigning my particular logo. I've always had an idea, but I don't have I'm not a CAD person. I'm not a computer aided design, blah, blah, blah. That's not my strength. And it's her profession. And so we've talked about what I wanted my logo to look like. I mean, most of you would only know my logo from there. That's my logo based on my design. That's my logo. That is my logo. Everybody's got a logo. Well, most of you have logos. That's my logo, but I want it modified. I want it cleaned up. I want it looking a lot more professional. And she's working on a couple ideas. Plus, she's making a special t-shirt for me, but we'll also put that on Teesprings because I'm really excited about it. Hey, welcome, Toby, Roof Railways. Andrew, the 3D printing is at a standstill. I have not 3D printed anything in at least 2 months. I've got to do design. I've built what I can or need right now, but there's a couple of buildings I really want to finish Delmenhorst. And there's a bunch of buildings I got to build for Delmenhorst, and I need to learn how to design those buildings. And I've looked at Tinkercad and other things, and it's to the point where I'd almost pay somebody to do it. I'll send them the 5 pictures, 5 different angles. I'll give them the dimensions of the building and say I want it 187 scale. But that's why I got a 3D printer, so I could learn to do this. But yeah, I haven't 3D printed anything in a while. The things have been coming out great. And I'm sure when I start doing more with the layout, I will start 3D printing more. I was really impressed with some of the stuff that John Warner at Piccadilly did with his for N scale. But he's got the Creality Ender 3. I've got the Ender 5, and I'm starting to wish maybe I'd gotten the Ender 3. It might be. I mean, in all fairness, Andrew, the platforms in Germany are multiple heights, and all the trains have adjustable stairs, so that if the platform's too low, out comes a mechanical stair. If the platform's high, there's a step up. Sometimes they just don't care, and you figure it out. Because definitely the double-deckers sit very high. The railjets sit, I guess I would say, high. And I won't know until next year when I'm in the UK to see if there's a big difference in how high they sit. No, that's true. And welcome, James from Boulder Creek. Ender 5 was supposed to be an upgrade of the Ender 3. It was supposed to be an upgrade. That they improved some of the problems. And maybe they did. There's a couple little issues I'm having because it's now an X. On the Ender 3, the X, Y, and Z was all controlled on one arm. With the Ender 5, the Z is separate from the X and Y. And there's a couple little issues that occasionally come from that. Yeah, I got the Ender 5 Pro, which was released like maybe 2 years ago now. Meant to be an upgrade of the Ender 3, but sometimes when you upgrade, new problems arise. Yeah, exactly, James, exactly. I think it solved a couple of the problems the Ender 3 had, but it's got its own problems as well. And again, overall, I mean, even people who use the Ender 3 will talk about the problems they have. My biggest problem is, especially when I'm building something tall, if you don't anchor it well, you put on the little discs to anchor it, it will occasionally bump and it will knock your thing off center, or it will actually move as it's piling up, and all of a sudden your building's like this and then half over. Do I have an example of that? Because I've saved a couple of the mess ups. Hang on a second. Doobie doobie doo doo doobie doo doo doobie doo. Now let's go. Which one do I want? Which camera do I want? This one. We'll do this one. Okay. There, that keeps it straight there. Here are 3 buildings that got messed up towards the end. I don't know how well this will show up on camera. But what happens is, as it starts building, it will occasionally, the nozzle will bump the building, or something happens, it gets jarred, and the roof, I don't know if you guys can see this, the roof starts getting off center, and all of a sudden, you know, you go downstairs and this has been shifted a bit. It's been shifted, and you can also see the bottom's broken off this one. Maybe I'll just go with the full view so I'm not fighting with the camera. But yeah, again, on this one, you could, if I show the top, you can see where all of a sudden the building got knocked centimeter, half an inch, and all of a sudden the roof's going off. The thing is, I can cut this off and sand this down, add my own bits to it, and save it. So it's just one of those someday projects. Another one where you can really see how all of a sudden the roof got knocked off center, because it's actually not the roof got knocked off center, the nozzle or something bumped the building. And it could be temperature adjustment, that it's sticking, blah, blah, blah. There's all sorts of things that could do it, but it gets pulled over. That problem solves itself a bit if you add the position discs. But that's where we're at with that. It's just, if I use it more often, I'll start to sort some of these problems out. Hi, Sparky. Dave, how are you? Anybody else come in? Let's go back to trains. You don't need to see that much of my mug. Scene 3. There it is. There's that. You guys, come on. Come on, where are you? Where'd I put you at? Dagnabbit. Ah, well, I'll let that go for now. I think that's everybody. Let's have a little bit of fun here. I think that is everything I can light up. What am I missing? All right. Oh, that's what I forgot. This one. How about a little night view? What do you think of that, guys? How about a little darkness? Yeah, it's time to clean some track again. We're getting a little blinking and do the contacts. Come on, Debbie. Really? Yeah. There we go. All right, now it's all lit up. Yeah, I wanted to buy a GoPro Hero, the little mini ones, and add that in as a cab view during live feeds, but that's now gone into the... Let's see if we can get some better views of this village view, but there you can see my bus station and my Delmenhorst train station all lit up. I gotta go. I really gotta clean my cars on my my IC2. It's time to clean their wheels. Whoops, wrong one. Yeah, I'm very proud of my, I mean, not to sound too egotistical, I'm very proud of the platform lighting and the station lighting. Oh, those are the lights I didn't put up yet. Which plug is it? Which plug was it, or did I disconnect everything? Oh well, I forgot to turn on the actual pole lights on the station. Yeah, I hate that flickering, but that just means the wheels need cleaned, the tracks probably need cleaned as well. That's not showing anything up. How about that one? That's a little better. Hey, Ewan, that's what I thought about 3D printing, but Dwight is absolutely correct. If you can put the money down and get a quality one, and the Ender 3s are very inexpensive and they're good. You know, for what most of us want, they're good. Yeah, an i3 by Prusa is definitely an upgrade, but you're going to spend a little more money than you would with an Ender. Wow, they're really flickering today. I'm sure somebody's going to let me know about it. I love the lights of double deckers. I'm just upset that two of them are flickering. The red guy's not flickering, but my metronome is flickering again, but not as badly as he sometimes does. But my IC2 is flickering, and normally he doesn't. Now the Railjet's just pretty. It doesn't have bright lights, but the real one doesn't have bright lights. There's a little bit of action coming at you. But I thought you guys might like that. Yeah, that's what I was seeing, Andrew, at March West. Yeah. I mean, if I could, I would stop my ICE here, and you would see there is no light bleed through the taillights. There's absolutely no light bleed. That would frustrate me. That's just how thin and cheap the plastic is that you get that light bleed like that. That's just ridiculous. All right, Somerset Andy, thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate it. But you know, you traded that one in and you got a different one. The light bleed was just as bad. So, and I've seen the same thing with Bachmann 00, people complaining about that as well. And it's just, it's the type of plastic and the quality of plastic. You know, obviously most of my locomotives are metal, so, but the bodies on my ICEs are plastic, and you have no light bleed on those. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and turn the lights back on. Try to remember to do that now and then. Okay, that's that. Okay, don't unplug anything else. Good. All right. And, oh, turn this off on this side. I just forgot which one was my platform lights from over there. I think I disconnected it all. Oh well. Hey, Kieran, how are you? Gee, I wonder who this could be. Oh. It's my daughter sent me pictures of the grandson. Yesterday was his 5th month. Birthday? It's not really a birthday. 5 months old. He turned 5 months old yesterday. But anyway, did anybody else have an interruption of my stream there? Hope not. But yeah, I was looking at a class 143 is going to be my new toy. Or one of my new toys. Come on. Let's get there. You guys are just listening to me talking to myself while I'm scrolling through something you can't see. Yeah. There it is. The new locomotive that how silly does it sound? Let me get reset up here. The new locomotive that Joyce said, just put it on the credit card and buy it. But I want to get the one I'm about to show you. Same locomotive, different companies. Pico has, my model shop in Germany has the Pico version, which doesn't have a lot of sound functions, and the Miraculin one will have all kinds of sound functions on it. But let me show you what I'm babbling about here. Is it this one? Yeah, there it is. So let me enlarge this at you. This is being added to the fleet sooner rather than later. That is a Class 143 locomotive. It's a bit of a big boy. It's working along with the Class 146s and 147s because the 146s are being phased out. And so this is a Class 143 commuter passenger service. And the Miraculin one's going to have, you can see the Miraculin one's going to have quite a few sound and light functions on it, whereas the Pico one doesn't have I don't think it has any sound functions. I think it's just light functions. But the Pico one's available now and about $140 cheaper than the Märklin one. So that's the new bad boy coming out that I could buy. They've got it on sale. Part of me wants to wait and get the Märklin one because the Märklin one will be better quality than the Pico one. But the Märklin one's not due until December, and there's 2 other trains I want that are due in December. So, yeah, well, that's what I've tried to figure out, Sparky. What do you call it? He turned 5 months old yesterday, so it's not really a birthday. But I know we didn't do anything special about our kids, but, you know, we announced, hey, he's 5 months old today. Hey, our daughter is 6 months old today. But my daughter, and we see all kinds of threads of people doing it. It's what people do now. They publish monthly photographs. Like my daughter, again, my daughter is a professional, lots of things, including photographer. And so she takes a gorgeous little picture for each of his new stages. So she just sent me the 5-month picture. Well, she sent the family the 5-month picture. So yeah, Joseph, that's sort of what my heart wants to wait for the Märklin, but there are 3 trains coming out that are due between October and Christmas time, and there's no way I can blow the budget. Now, having said that, I did exactly that last Christmas. I wound up getting 3 trains between my birthday and Christmas. I don't think I can tempt fate twice. I just happened to get a great deal on that one Rheingold, and then I wanted the first Rheingold, and then I saw the second Rheingold, and I liked the livery on the second Rheingold, but it was an older one, and I really had my heart set on the first one. So I got the first one, but I really wanted the second one I got, the Bavarian blue and yellow one, and so I wound up getting them both, and on top of that, the Beatles Eurostar that I still have to send off and get converted. I've got so many trains I need to get converted or repaired, and so I've been doing it in stages. Yeah, speaking of seeing stuff in the UK, normally I would be packing my bags. Joyce and I would be going through final preparations for our trip to Germany. That's not happening. And so next year is already the UK. You know, originally 2020 was Germany, 2021 was UK, and then 2022 was Germany again. Well, we had to cancel our 2020 trip, so we postponed Germany until this year. Well, it's being canceled again because we can't get over there. And which really is depressing. I'm spoiled that way. It's depressing. And I was hoping that maybe things might open up by July, that we could still try to go, because our money's still sitting at Air Canada waiting for us to spend it, but we can't even go across the border to Air Canada to spend our money. So it's obviously canceled, and we just spent most of the money I'd put aside for train shopping in Germany, because I do put money aside specifically in case I see a couple of cool trains I want. I'm buying them. Yes, I will be stopping in all 4 countries of the UK and Ireland. And Joyce wants me to start building an itinerary of what we're gonna go do and see. And right now, the only things that are etched in stone is that we definitely we want to hit London just to see London. I mean, if we're going to go to the UK, we should see London, okay? But I'm not hardcore to go see. We'll do one of those bus tours. I don't even think I would go and pay the money and wait in line to go see Windsor. I would just take a bus tour and say, hey, look, there's Windsor Castle, there's Big Ben. Okay, cool. I do want to see some of the Beatle places of London, you know, Abbey Road Studios and that. And I want to do a Jack the Ripper and Tower of London tour. I know those are separate things, but one of my darker interests is I've always been fascinated by the Jack the Ripper story and want to do one of the Jack the Ripper tours. But otherwise, that would be it for London. Don't need to see or do much, and I know it's going to be kind of expensive to stay in London. Well, hello, Woodgate Junction. So, and then Liverpool. We are going to spend 3-4 days in Liverpool. I want to get a tour of Anfield. I want, and then all the Beatles stuff. And then those are the only 2 places set in stone. But we want to go up to Edinburgh in Scotland. And then there are castles I want to see. There's a couple of castles in Wales I want to see. I want to see Carnarvon and, darn it, now I can't think of the other one. David Jones from Cottesmore doesn't live too far from. I'm trying to think the other really famous castle in Wales. I know there's a lot of them, but there's like Carnarvon, and I can't think of the other one. You guys can help me up maybe. And we plan on traveling by train. And then we do want to go over to Northern Ireland, but we do want to go into Ireland. And also, I want to go up and visit Mark Donegal Dad up in Donegal. I want to go see that museum up there. So we're going to fit that in. Yes, of course Liverpool's good, Lee. But I'm a huge Beatle fanatic, so Liverpool has to be on it. And I want to spend enough time that I'm not rushing through Liverpool. I want to do it where I'm not rushing. But there's so many things to see in England. And we're going to spend 4 weeks over there. England, the United Kingdom, Scotland, Ireland, Wales. So we've got 4 weeks. And then we want to take trains. And then what we'd like to do is the people that want to meet us, the people from YouTube, the train community that want to meet us, we'll try to find like centrally located places that we could all, like if I stop here and spend a couple of days, we could all meet one day. And then as far as trains go, you know, I don't know. I don't know what heritage lines. Obviously, that Severn Valley and that train that goes over the viaduct, that would be a cool train ride in view. But we're going to rely on you people to kind of guide us. And hopefully you don't get offended if we turn around and say, no, not that one, or no, we can't do that, it doesn't fit in. Because I have to draw a map, because Joyce and I like to go point to point to point, where we're not going up, down, back, forth, right, left. So we'd like, assume we'd land in London and spend our first 3 days in London, and then we'd go over to Wales. But I also want to go to Hastings. I want to see, and not the official, what do you guys call it in the UK, the heritage, whatever, the place that they claim. That wasn't the, there is no way that was the battlefield. The part that the UK Historical Society claims is the battlefield and charges you money to go see, no. The battle was, I think, south and east of there. There is no way where they claim the Battle of Hastings was where the Battle of Hastings could have happened. I want to see that. I want to see Stamford Bridge and Stirling Bridge. I want to see those 2 battlefields. So there's some battlefields. And a visit to the Towson Battlefield Museum would also be cool. Edinburgh. I'm American. We say Edinburgh. All right, Edinburgh. I do know to call people from Glasgow Glaswegians, but that's about it. Edinburgh. Edinburgh. My apologies to my Scottish friends. I can't help it. You're still influenced by those darn Frenchies and throw letters in you don't pronounce. I'm German. ICURG. It's Berg. You were at the... Hey, Andy Ambrose, how are you? You're at the Battle of Hastings. Were you on the UK side? That might explain why they lost. Woodgate Junction. I now declare you a knight of the Rhomboid table. Okay. So I am... There's a lot of British... Various civil wars, wars of Scotland, medieval battlefields I would love to see. So that is definitely in the... and there's a ton of stuff we'd like to see I know we won't get to. But that's just a few off the top of my head. I know there's a... I mean, I think I want to just go see Kent and the castle at Kent. Is it Kent Castle? I forget what that region there. I'd like to see the town of Kent. But also up in that region, what is its name? Not Shropshire. No, not Shropshire. Stopford or something like that. Stopfordshire. Anyhow, there's a couple of places like Somerset, and Somerset Andy was just here. There's places in Somerset and the Stopfordshire or something like that where my ancestors are from. So, actually, it's not my first. Ewan, I had the librarian at my elementary school when I was in grade 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade was from Scotland. So I actually got, but she wasn't from Edinburgh. She was actually north of Liverpool. She was from, I think it's County Ayrshire, which was interesting because my mother had some distant relatives in her past that were from Ayrshire, Scotland. Leeds Castle is in Kent. There you go. But I've just been told by many people Kent is a really beautiful place, and ancestors of mine lived in Kent at one time. But I do want to kind of just look at some of the places that my ancestors once lived in the UK. Now, the funny thing is, Joyce and I, as we travel, it's not that we are different people, but we're actually, especially me, because Joyce isn't super talkative to begin with. She can warm up and then she talks a lot, but we're quiet travelers. The years traveling in Germany have taught us to not be the ugly Americans. And if you're fellow Americans here, a lot of our fellow countrymen act like complete douchebags over in Europe. And Europeans love Americans for all the things we've done in the past to help them and so forth. But a lot of the tourist Americans get on their nerves because we act like jerks. As an American watching fellow Americans, it's annoying. We act like jerks. And I've talked about it before, so I won't ramble on too much more about it. But it's pronounced Air, so it is Ayrshire. Okay. My mom always said Ayr, so hey. Ayrshire. Ayrshire. Okay. Which makes more sense, really, when I think about it. Ayrshire. There we go. Could see everybody going. We've done that a couple of times, Sparky, when we were in situations where we didn't trust people. We ran into some Brazilians in Berlin a few years ago that noticed we were Americans that came at us, and we tried to hide and tried to convince them we were Canadians. We even offered them maple syrup. But that was one of the things, to beat a dead horse into the ground. My students that I took to Germany were working class kids. Working class kids from Toledo, Ohio, a Rust Belt factory town that has seen better days. Working class kids from what in America we call a public school. I think in the UK you call them state schools, you know. Not in America, we call what you call public schools in the UK, we call private schools in America. So if you ever hear somebody saying, I went to public school in England or I went to public school in the UK, my fellow Americans, that means they went to a private school. Public school in UK is private school. In other words, the public pays for it themselves. In America, public schools are the ones the government sets up for you. But anyhow, my kids, and I think I took about 135 to 140 kids over the 13 years I ran the exchange program. 130 to 140 kids. Never, not one, embarrassed me in the public. A couple of kids acted up with their host families, but when they went to the schools or when we were traveling and we were in the public places, my kids always, I kid you not, always acted with proper decorum and respect for everything they were observing and doing it. It's the best memory. All the hells, all the hassles of organizing the trip, money and blah, blah, blah. You just, when you come home from that trip and Joyce and I look at each other and go, man, these kids were awesome again. You fall in love with your kids, your students. Oh, you do. Sparky, I'm in Canada, I won't say all the time, but I've been in Canada a lot. I have made at least 15 trips to Niagara Falls, but stopping off at places as well. And I know Niagara Falls is mostly not Canadians, but we talk to the natives a lot, and we go into Canada for other things. But the thing is, we talk about Canadians and saying A, but if you go to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, the Yoopers, as we call those people, they do it too. Minnesotans do it. Northern Wisconsin people do it too. And the funny one is the Northern Wisconsin people, because they do both the Canadian accent, but they still got that old Scandinavian accent. Oh, those crappies were biting out there, weren't they? Oh, that was quite an old time, Oh, for sure, yeah. So it's really funny. Northern Wisconsin accents I love because they still have that Germanic Scandinavian accent, but they also got that, what we call the Canadian accent. And yeah, they throw the A in there all the time too. It's just that Americans think you say it after everything. Hello, A. It's just Canadians use it the way a lot of Americans say okay or right. Hey, you're going to do that, right? You know. Hey, that was pretty cool, wasn't it? You know, we have all these phrases. Canadians just, oh, that was pretty cool, eh? Oh, that hockey game last night. What a game, eh? You're 50 minutes from the falls. Well, next time I go, we'll wave. I love the falls. Obviously, the touristy part, because I know I'm a tourist too. But I'm a tourist who tries not to act like a tourist. I'm not into the Hard Rock Cafe and all the... I want to go down to the falls. The only touristy thing Joyce and I do that we will love and... the Maid of the Mist boat tours, which is at the American side or the Canadian side now changed its name. I forget. It's actually been 5 years since I've been to Niagara Falls now. But the old Maid of the Mist boat tours. That's awesome. Tourist or not, it's awesome. I love the Maid of the Mist. Australians don't run. Who are you kidding, James? Australians don't run. They look at a crocodile and go, "G'day, mate." You know, Australians don't run. Australians are badasses, or at least that's the image they like to give off. Yes, I heard that. That's one reason Joyce and I would like to go back. And if the border opens before August, we will probably go spend 3-4 days up at Niagara Falls. I mean, even the first week of August. Because we want to take a trip somewhere. If we're not going to Germany, we want to do something. We want to go for a week. You know, we might... The longest we've ever stayed in the falls on any one shot was we took the kids up there in 2002. We took our kids up there when they were young, and we spent 4.5 days up there. So it might be cool to go up there. And we've done everything. We've gone to the wine vineyards, and but the falls themselves, get away from the tourist stuff and just go down to Turtle Rock or Castle Rock or a couple of those places. You know, yes, there are crowds, but you can tune the crowds out. I mean, this is nature. This is universe-made stuff. And that's always impressive. The Rocky Mountains, the Alps, the Rhine River, the Elbe River. Just staring at something that's natural and not man-made is just so blow away. Mind. No, Floridians run away from the crocodiles and the alligators. Oh my God, it ate Poochie! You know, I'm sorry, I should do some 70-year-old voice. Herbert, an alligator ate Poochie! I've been to New York City once and I'll never go back. I've been to Florida once, and I'll never go back. Not my favorite places on earth. Sorry. So is this the setup of a joke, Andy? Why do American ladies say already at the end of sentences? Do American ladies say already at the end of sentences? I mean, occasionally, come on already, but, you know. Joyce certainly doesn't say it. I have had a propensity of starting many, many sentences with the word well. Well? Yes, Tim, they are. In fact, just in the about 20 years since my wife and I first went to Niagara Falls to the last time we went, you can see a change. You can see a change. They do on the TV. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to New York, but I've seen it once and that was enough. Just wait till I hear the Yorkshire accent. I've heard so many UK accents, and I pride myself on usually being able to hear. Now, obviously, it's like even when I speak German, and I don't just speak German, I speak several dialects of German. But one I don't speak, which really sucks, is, although I now know some of it, is a dialect called Plattdeutsch, which is spoken in Northwest Germany, because that's where I always go. Or that's where I always went when we did the exchange program. Plattdeutsch gets, I can struggle understanding Plattdeutsch. And see, I don't know if we go to Scotland, if we will make it up to Glasgow or not. But and you gotta understand, guys, one of my degrees, and yes, I said one of my degrees is in linguistics. I love languages. So you take me into an area and said, hey, I'm not going to be sitting there laughing like, oh my God, that's great. I've got to be listening to, oh my God, this is so cool. Say more. Say more. Come on. Read me a poem. Do something. The only thing I'm scared of is the various areas like Monk and even in London and Chelsea, the rhyming slang areas where they do the rhyme slang and have somebody making fun of me where I don't know what they really called me. But no, I have if somebody starts speaking in an accent or a dialect or just a foreign language, I sit there and I'm like, go on, more please. Wait, how did you say that? Teach me how to say that. What was that? Teach me how to, I become instant bookworm student. Teach me, show me, let me hear. Yeah. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to in the UK. My travels in Germany, I've picked up some dialects, but and I can usually flip into them, but so I'm very much looking forward to the UK. And because again, my only exposure to accents are actors and British TV shows, and obviously sometimes they're exaggerated. I'm really looking forward to a real Pictish Scottish accent, even if I don't know what he's saying or she's saying. The minute I try to do a Scottish accent, I immediately fall into Monty Python. I'm just Pagorny, you stupid man. But then I listen to a couple of friends on YouTube, and it's like, they actually do kind of sound like that. I keep waiting for Shirley to do that. I keep waiting for Shirley to talk to Chris like that. Chris Whitnam, you stupid man! Open up your bloody eyes! Chris probably fell asleep and I just woke him up. You could listen to me all day. Well, I have what's called the Mid-East Coastal American accent. But I unfortunately have other accents that are mixed in because my mother was born out west and grew up in the South. And so she put a little twang in our voices, listening to my mom talk. She put a little twang. And then as a kid, I had a speech impediment, which I actually still have, but I went through training to hide it well, mostly. We have what one of my German professors in college called the Toledo A, the way I say A. Eh. And I'm fully aware that I have an accent and I have a dialect. I mean, again, what degrees do I have? Fine. I have a BA in linguistics, Bachelor of Arts in Linguistics. I have a BA in German. I have a BA in English. I have an MA in English. I have a Bachelor's of Education. I have a Master's in English Lit. I have a degree in History, and I have... Which one did I miss? I don't have a doctorate. I don't have a PhD. I really didn't want one. Sometimes I think I should have, just so I could be Dr. Dodge, but... History. I'm 3 courses away from a degree in psychology. See, all the UK guys are going after each other. Wake up, you silly old man. Oops. Angus Pegger. But that's just it, or John Cleese's... Look at the bones, man! From Monty Python and the Holy Grail. This little Celtic wizard. There are some who call me Tim. That rodent's got a mean streak a mile wide, you know. So, sadly, if I sit and listen, I can hone in on an accent and start to duplicate it without it becoming comedic. The problem is, most accents I'm exposed to usually start in comedy. You know, as an American stuck in the middle of America, you watch TV and that's where you pick up your accents. And I tend to watch a lot of comedies. So you get comedians not from that region making fun of those regions. I even see, some of you are probably old enough to remember. I can't remember the gentleman's name. He was from the United Kingdom, but he would do radio shows both in the United Kingdom and in the United States. And he would listen to you talk, and he would ask you to say a bunch of words. And he could narrow down not only what city you were from, what part of the city, and in some cases, what neighborhood you lived in. He had a doctorate in linguistics, and he became a celebrity doing this. He would get people on his phone, and people would try to trick him, go, you actually aren't from that area because your accent's completely wrong. You know, no, you just don't get it. No. I can tell you're probably Scottish trying to do an Irish accent, you know. But this was back he really became famous in the 60s and 70s. Oh my God, I love that. See ya, Jimmy? Is a Jimmy leaving? Oh, James. Or that might be from a show. Yeah. So, and the thing is, I love voices. I mean, one of the best things about growing up in part of the neighborhood I did, at least the neighborhood I hung out with. I didn't necessarily hang out in my particular neighborhood. I went across the street and then went up those streets. A lot of immigrants, a lot of people not born in the United States. And I just love the accents, whether it was Japanese or Chinese, Korean, Asian, the various Arabic languages, the Scottish librarian. Just, I love the accents. My own family members that had German accents. I just loved it, man. I loved it. And so many kids in my neighborhood mocked the people with accents. The various Latino accents, Hispanic accents. Most of the kids in my neighborhood were thugs, and they mocked these people. Hey, man, let me hear you talk some of that. You know, like there was a Japanese family that lived 3 houses down from me. And one of the idiots in our neighborhood, hey, man, let me hear you talk some of that I Ching Chong stuff, man. You know, just racist stuff. And, you know, and I was the exact opposite. You know, I just, you know, tried to learn the culture. You know, like, all right, how many feet do you stand apart with a person from Japan? Because you have to know this. I learned in college later on, I took classes on cultural distancing about, you know, different cultures, their privacy zone, their personal space changes. In Japanese, there's a bit of distance. And, you know, a lot of times American dignitaries and American businessmen will go to Japan, and if they haven't been taught and told this, they'll walk right up to the guy, how are you? And the Japanese person is very uncomfortable with that. Hey, my personal space. Gotcha. See, there you go. See, I have to learn that stuff. That's why we'll never hear your voice on vid. See, I hate to read that. I want to hear your guys' voices. Trying to think of the first Beatles manager before Brian Epstein. They had a little Welsh guy who had a little bit of a little high-pitched Welsh accent. And he actually he was from Wales and went to Liverpool. But they would interview him at times back in the day, and he was Alan something, and he ran one of the, like the Mersey Beat newspaper or whatever, the music newspaper in Liverpool at the time. Alan Williams, maybe that was his name, Alan Williams. But he had just a little bit of a high-pitched Welsh accent, you know, and I start going into Madame Lot there. I almost did put up a funny video about sort of a an epilogue video for Matt Clark. Although I think we're trying to figure out a way where I can keep all the other character names. Now Dan D is dead, so I don't have to worry about any legal issues with him. But I do see in America we have parody laws that you can use stuff in parody. Like I could go on a TV show and do Star Trek and have Captain Kirk, blah blah blah, and Star Trek. And because I'm doing a parody, I don't have to worry about copyright issues, licensing issues, or something like that. I don't think the laws are quite as liberal in the UK as they are in the United States. But in the United States, even online, I technically could do that. You know, if it's my show and I happen to be doing a sketch parody. So we're not quite sure. We're trying to look into it if I could keep using the name Matt Clark as long as I call that Matt Clark Parody. Which you'll notice I put on all my uploads, Matt Clark Parody. But we've suggested adding an E to the name because the actual TV show didn't have an E. Changing his name to Mike or Mark. But then Mark Clark was a famous American general in World War II. Indeed. Yep, Mersey Beat. Yep. Where I work, we have loads of different... No, I don't want to be reading people's things out loud. There's a couple other people who do that. Drives Joyce crazy. We won't say whom. They're not here now. All right, you would take care. Always appreciate you stopping in. Always amazed anybody stops in. Especially now that I don't have anything really to offer. Whoops. There we go. Speaking of that Railjet, there he is coming through. Coming right into your screens. If you got 4K, he's broadcasting in 4K. Well, actually I'm broadcasting in 1080-60, but that camera's on 4K. No, not that one. I really just need to delete that particular scene, but go back to this one. Choo! Okay, I just did a steam whistle. I can't tell you what it means to have that ICE3 running. Although I really thought this week, I was like 75% sure this week I'd hear about my ICE4. No luck, no luck, no luck. That Railjet's just coming up in all my... Again, and people, I probably come across as a needy bitch needing reinforcement. It's not that. I literally am week to week stunned that people actually come to my live feed. I mean, I do think I can be funny. I consider myself extremely intelligent. I try not to talk on the topics that would anger a lot of people, although occasionally I get a rant going. But I'm always amazed people come. And yes, obviously friendships have developed here. it will never amaze me, and I hope it will always amaze me, because then I'll probably treat people better, or treat people well. You know, if it gets old hat, I'm like, everybody comes to my stream. I can do what I want. Yeah, I'm not going to say Tim JD. I am definitely not saying Matt Clark is done. I'm just trying very hard not to think of a sequel right now, which can lead to trouble. Because if an idea comes to me and I fight it, then I destroy everything. It's like my brain says, oh, you don't want to do this? Then we won't do this. And it's like, no, I just don't want to do it now. So I'm trying not to think, but ideas have already been bounced around. Of course, a lot of people suggested things. But I was going to put up a scene, and I wound up not making it, and I probably won't make it, so I'll tell you what it was going to be. I was going to have episode 19 today and not tell anybody. It was going to be a surprise. Episode 19 was going to pick up where Matt Clark and everybody's walking away. Everybody's walking away. Bad guys are done. And all of a sudden, Matt Clark starts going, wait, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Everybody fades. And all of a sudden, they show up, smoking, blah, 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 and angelic music. They're at St. Peter's Gate. And Matt Clark and Madame Lot, Sheriff, and the Mayor, and Diesel Dan, all there go, where are we? What is this? Where are we? What is this? And an angel walks up and says, why, you're at the outskirts of heaven. And Matt Clark is like, what? Long story short, they all died on the train. And the entire inspiration was one of my favorite stories by Ambrose called An Occurrence at Owl Creek. And if you don't know, it's one of the best American short stories. I read it in junior high, and then we had to read it again in high school. And it's one of my favorite American short stories. It's called An Occurrence at Owl Creek. And basically, it is I thought he was like a Union soldier or a Confederate soldier, and he's been sentenced to hang for something. And as he's about to be hung, they drop the latch, and the rope breaks. He rolls down the hill, and he escapes. While everybody's shocked wondering what's going on, he's able to get up and escape. And they're shooting at him, and he escapes. He runs through the water, and he thinks he's about to make a getaway. And then all of a sudden, his eyes go black and everything, and the story cuts back. He's dead on the gallows. And the story is what goes through a person's mind in the seconds before they die. And in his brain, he had created this whole adventure of him escaping. Spoiler alert, sorry. Oh, Andrew was leaving. Good night, Andrew. Sorry. Good night, Andrew. Take care. We'll see you somewhere. And that was immediately an inspiration to do a scene 19 and parody in some ways do that. And then I decided not to. But I thought that would have messed with everybody's brains. And, but I decided not to do that. But, one of the funny things, and I talked about it a bit last week, but this whole thing's still been on my mind. Because it's not something I want to have done a one-off. I mean, in a lot of ways, it should be a one-off. It's done. Because I can't go back and do the Up Nellie's Past jokes over and over. It has to be something new. Same characters, but it's got to be new jokes, new puns. Obviously, I could create new characters. But like people are suggesting, well, do it in Europe. Well, I could create a whole new story and do it in Europe, a whole new French Mathieu Clerc, French railroad detective, inspector, or something like that. That would be silly. But if I took everybody over there, how could I get all the characters over there? And there are definitely open plot lines. I mean, for example, if you really were watching the story, at the end, Daisy starts to come full circle. But is she putting the mayor on to escape, or is she sincere? You know, at one minute she's hating on him, I'm going to kill you, but then he tells her the story, and then all of a sudden there's a bit where they're escaping, and she tells Bobby the kid, you know, he wasn't that... He had likable qualities. There were things to like about him. And then at the end, she seems very, you know, I'm not scared to face the noose, you know, but she also starts sweetly talking, you know, you weren't that bad a guy, Mayor. I actually did enjoy our time together. Now, is she trying to go all seductive to get out of trouble? And then the funniest thing of it all is how many people were celebrating that Four Finger Bill got away. I still call him Five Finger Bill, even though the joke is we changed his name at the end. Four Finger Bill. I've had so many people say, oh, I'm so glad Four Finger Bill got away. You do realize he's killed 13 people. He's a mass murderer. And Joyce is in your boat. I'm laughing at people cheering that I let him live, that I didn't kill him, that of all the villains, he didn't die. And once bitten, twice shy. Now, see, it's got to be railroad related, and I wouldn't even touch the Jack the Ripper. I know people have done comedies about it. There are certain topics I would never do a comedy with. There are certain topics I don't think I could do a comedy with. Jack the Ripper is probably one. Call me a coward. You know, I would never make jokes about the Holocaust. I might make jokes about the Nazis. I mean, some of you might remember the old American comedy from the 60s, Hogan's Heroes. And that offended a lot of people. And yet half the actors in it were Jewish, and they supported the show. Because they said it wasn't making fun of the Holocaust. And it was a prison camp, not a death camp. It was a prisoner of war camp. And they defended the show. And that they treated the right things with respect. And making fun of the Nazis was not a bad thing to do. They couldn't make fun of the Nazis originally. And the guy who played LeBeau, oh crap, now I forgot his name. Gary. He had tattoos from Auschwitz on his arm while acting in that show. That's why he always wore long sleeves. He had the actual numbers burned into his skin. Robert Clary, that's it, Robert Clary. I don't know that he would be too political, because I don't have any of the political issues. It's just what he did was so horrendous, I don't know how we could make it funny. You know, I couldn't do comedy about Charles Manson and the Manson family. There's no humor there for me. There might be. I mean, obviously some people have sixth sense of, or what I consider a sixth sense of humor. People did when I was a kid, there were dead baby jokes that everybody did. It was like a phase you went through. But it's not even the politics. It really is just the, it's the subject matter in and of itself. You know, 5 women confirmed brutally murdered by the same guy, up to 11, but many of those others have been considered probably not. I personally, and I don't think it's political, maybe it's political correctness, because we like to use that term derogatorily, but I would not be able to, I would be very uncomfortable trying to make humor in that situation. You can make death funny, and you can be humorous about death, okay? Come on guys, how many people did I blow away and make it funny? I mean, Jimmy Crack Gorn gets blown away in scene 4, and I'm laughing the whole time I'm doing it. I blow up Annie's brother, and I'm laughing while I'm writing it. So I don't have a problem making death funny, but it's a fictional death. It's a fictional death, first of all. It's not a real. And the circumstances itself make it funny. So, yeah, and that's if you buy into it that it was, that book Prince Jack, where that was a member of the royal family. And to be honest, I know the royal family doesn't like it, but I don't agree with that synopsis anyhow. I know the guy got locked up. The more intriguing story is that we had 2 sets of Jack the Ripper style murders that began within years, one in North Carolina and one in Buffalo, New York. And they abruptly ended in the UK and suddenly started in America. And there's a lot of circumstantial evidence to suggest the guy left London and came to America. Very similar murders. In fact, I think in Buffalo they even have a name on the guy and that he lived in England. But there's also, I still go along with sort of the butcher theory that it was some people it was a doctor because the way he did it was butchering. So I never bought that it was the royal family guy. And Lord knows I have read 50 books of different theories. To be honest, I think Scotland Yard's original suspect was the guy, and they just stupidly let him go. Not to mention Scotland Yard destroyed a lot of evidence without taking note of it. I think the Jack the Ripper murders taught police that they needed to do a better job in forensics. Typical, now I'm blaming immigrants. As an American, there we went political. Well, we're all immigrants in America. Anybody who doesn't think so. Even the Native Americans were immigrants. It's just that when they came here, there was nobody here. They were the first immigrants. The Jack the Ripper stuff has always intrigued me. I love the Prince Jack book, but there was some circumstantial stuff that really says it wasn't, I forget the Prince Albert. Was it Albert, the one they suspected? But there are clearly some things where Albert is definitely here when a Jack the Murderer is happening here. So, again, did the royal family cover it up? What was it? Inspector Anderson, I think. He had 3 guys, and one of them wound up being in a lunatic asylum and committing suicide. Another guy they lost track of, never saw again. The other one drowned in the Thames River. Hey, Andrew T., take care. Well, Andy, as a scientist, it's true. We all did start in Africa. The human race started in Africa, and you can trace our migrations through the rest of the world. But we are where we are, and nobody lives on land they originally owned. I've been joined by somebody. Oh, I noticed a while ago. Hey, camera, stay up. Come on. Oh, the cord, that's why. That's why it's being difficult.
Hi, everybody.
Now it's kind of like a Batman tilt to it.
It's fall down here.
No, it's perfect down here. Okay. Yeah, we were just talking a little bit. I was talking about the one idea I had of adding a scene 19 where they actually all died on the train. the Occurrence at Owl Creek version.
Oh, that's crazy.
That was crazy. And then I was just teasing them that so many of them were cheering for Four Finger Bill to have escaped. I got to learn to call him Four Finger Bill now. He's been five-finger Bill for 4.5 months.
He has been. Yeah, that's hard.
In my mind, but I'm trying to correct myself. He's four-finger Bill now.
Okay.
But see, one of the stupidest ideas I already had in a sequel was, okay, I loved all the anyone, someone jokes, but I didn't want to do those again. And then I said, but what about somebody named Bodie or Bodie? The Bodie family. Sam Bodie, Annie Bodie, Neil Bodie. And then it's just, okay, it was a funny joke the first time through. It's stupid when you're just parodying it.
Yes, he is, Joseph. For sure.
Sometimes.
Oh, no, you are. I'm glad you noticed.
Well, if there is a God, which I don't know what color he is. If there is a
Probably
God,
not.
he was probably green or blue from another planet. And he went home. Hardcore said, hi, Lil. Hi, Hardcore. It's Nancy. Oh, wait, no, it's Lil.
Oh, it's Lil. Yeah, you got that right.
It's Lil. You are wearing it, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, she's got her.
I figure it's my outfit for a few weeks at least.
It's Lil, damn it.
Lil.
You just did that on camera. You hussy. You weren't thinking about that, were you?
I wasn't on purpose.
You weren't thinking about that,
Not
were you?
really. I was just moving her so everybody could see.
I think we just went PG-18. Any kids watching just went,
Ooh.
Mom, I think I want to go home now. I think I want to go back home to my mommy and daddy now.
Oh. Oh, well. So anyway, how's everybody doing? Not doing embarrassing things?
Yeah, I had religion classes in high school too, Luma. My first 2 years. Now, my mom was American Southern Baptist. My dad was Lutheran. We went to Methodist Church. United Methodist, not Free Methodist, United Methodist. And then I went to a Catholic high school. So my first 2 years in religion class, I was an atheist just to piss off the teacher. I was an atheist. Now I'm just sort of, meh, they're all wrong. That'll probably annoy a few of you, and I'll lose a few more subscribers for that. Probably.
Yeah.
I don't care what religion you are, the odds are they're wrong. I'm expecting that when I die, Zeus is going to be there going, hey, why'd y'all stop believing in me?
Oh my goodness. How did we do that?
Oh, wow, no, now we're getting.
How did that happen?
That.
Well,
Well, we're pleased.
flattered, yeah.
Not only Catholic, but Jesuit Catholic. I went to a Jesuit high school. That was my goal, to annoy Mr. Dewey and Father Anderson. And Father Anderson was cool.
I knew Mr. Dewey.
But I went to, just because it was near where my dad worked, where my dad worked as an electrician. When I was 3 and 4, I was kept in it was a Catholic daycare. My dad dropped me off.
Yeah.
My mom dropped me off, and then my dad would pick me up a couple of days a week because my mom did stuff, and so it was a couple of days a week. And I'm left-handed. And is there anybody here who is left-handed old enough to remember what Catholics did to us left-handers? I got whacked on the hand by a nun. 1966, 1967. I'm coloring and writing with my left hand, and I'm getting whacked on it. And so my parents took me out because I'm old enough to Left hand was the sign of the devil to them. Put the pen in your other hand. Put that crayon in your other hand. This is the one I write with. Tried to get into Catholic girls' school. Well, I think we all did that.
Noticed.
See, I was American public schools until high school, and then I paid my own way through a private school. My dad couldn't afford to send me across the street. I got a job when I was 12 and paid my own tuition. And then, but Joyce is Catholic all the way through. She was a Catholic girl. Were you a good or were you a good or a naughty Catholic school girl?
Oh, I was good.
Oh, let's face it, you've been both.
That's true. You never got whacked? That's good.
Yeah, but were you Tim JD? Were you Catholic? Because you're my age or older.
Hire a caravet?
A caravet?
What's that?
And this woman had to have been 150, 200 years old.
Oh, all the lefties in here.
Yay, power to us lefties. Power to the lefties.
Wow.
Someday we lefties will take over the world and teach you people.
Put everything on the left side.
The only advantage left-handedness ever had was you suckers invented the handshake as a way of saying, look, no weapon, and put out your right hand. And we lefties could keep the weapon in our left hand and keep the weapon in our left hand and stick out the right hand and shake hands anyhow. Other than that, you guys built a whole world. Screws, doors, everything built for right-handers.
I do. 2 left-handed siblings and a left-handed husband, so all 3 kids are right-handed. Not sure how that happened.
Yeah, but both your left-handed siblings work ambidextrous. Like, Jay does most things right-handed. He may be left-handed, but he does most things right-handed. And Holly does most things left-handed, but I think she bowled right-handed. Yeah, Holly bowled right.
She maybe did. I don't know.
Oh, so you are Catholic. Wow. Maybe they took it out of your world, but man, those nuns in America. Whack. Yes, lefties are about 8%, 9% of the population.
Oh.
Oh, a mobile home. See? I had to learn that. A caravet is a mobile home.
Oh.
We're going to ride trains and we'll start looking up
Airbnbs, probably.
Airbnb, bed and breakfast Airbnb. We stay cheap. Because that's the one thing I am seriously frightened of. I am so scared of when we get to the UK. Is that we're going to meet people and some of you might actually invite us over for dinner. And I'm going to offend you because I don't like anything. Pizza and cow. Pizza and cow and french fries. And the cow should have cheese on it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, the thing is, to rent a caravet would probably cost more money than trains. Maybe we're wrong. But we have never rented a car in Germany. It has been train and bus everywhere in Germany. Train, bus, everywhere.
I don't know, Tim. I think that's how most lefties are. That is not how Anthony is, though.
No. I have good reflexes right-handed, and I taught myself to throw a ball right-handed.
Beans on toast.
Well, yeah. McDonald's, yeah. Well, I'm not talking McDonald's, okay? Because McDonald's is at the lower end of quality burgers.
That's true. He does like bread.
Yeah, bread. Homemade, fresh bread. Killer. Cheese and bread. I mean, I can go cheese and bread.
Bakery bread is fine.
Bakery bread. bakery bread.
I can cook for you. That's all right. Don't worry about it.
But no, it's just that, like, I will try deep fried fish and chips once. Now, the fries I'll keep eating, but I don't really like seafood. And the only fish I tend to like is, like, in America we call it whitefish, which is like the lowest end, and what they tend to make McDonald's, what do they call the fish sandwiches? Is it McFish? No.
Yeah.
It is McFish? Yeah. And it's got to be deep fried. You know, dipped and battered, deep fried. Otherwise, I hate seafood. And you guys are on an island, and your national meal is fish and chips.
Well, I mean, you guys know we get along well.
Well, we will look into it, Hardcore. Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah, because, I mean, we get along really well in Germany just using public transportation.
Yep.
But if it's not as well established, you know, I mean, we could maybe rent a car.
But,
Came down to that.
see, like in Germany, parking is so expensive that we don't mind walking. In fact, we'd prefer walking.
We walk all the time.
We walk
yeah.
everywhere. We walk miles and miles and miles and miles. We go to Berlin and we either we buy an all-day bus pass, which is like $5 a person, and it's good for the subways. Yeah, it's good for the subways, the buses, and everything. And it's like $5 a person, and if it's too far to walk, we hop on it. We hop on the trams, and again, we don't know the English system. That's why we're nervous about this.
Buses and subways and.
But we're used to crowded trams and crowded buses and crowded trains.
Yeah, that's not a problem. You can hang on. As long as it's not like India.
Yeah. I mean, if it's like India where you have to grab onto the sides or climb up on the top, then no.
Maybe not. Not
But
that
we haven't
aggressive.
seen that in any English travelogue.
Right.
We haven't seen that.
In
No.
England, yeah.
But we definitely we travel easy and we travel well, and we love to meet people and see things. But she is fine. I'm a picky eater.
Well, I don't know. I swear half the time you eat better in Germany than I do.
I don't know. Because there are just so many ethnic foods I don't like, and I'm very picky, and I'm not even, if you're like, oh, just try it. It's like, no. Last time I did that, it was eel, and I threw up. Just try it. I got to be polite to these people. And I ate eel, and
It was awful.
I'll be back.
It was awful. Yeah, okay. All right, Andy.
Hello, Dimitri Motor.
That's good to know.
What was that?
He says there's no English system. It's different in every country.
Every county. What, the train? Yeah, well, the trains are regional. You don't have a national system.
Right, he's talking about, like, buses, I think, and
Right.
subways and things like that.
Yeah, so that might be. I mean, in Germany, the bus system is different city to city. But, like, when you're a tourist in Berlin, you can buy a bus pass, and it's good for Berlin and out to so many suburbs. So, like, when we go to Berlin, we stay in the city of Potsdam, and then take a 30-minute train ride into Berlin, get off at Alexanderplatz, and then we just start going everywhere, and we walk. We never, a couple of times with the students we took we took the subway. But Joyce gets offended if I decide, oh, let's just take the subway.
Or the bus. It's like, no, we can walk it. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're more out in the country, you're not going to walk that far,
like,
that long.
is an all-day bus pass is 10 pounds. Boy.
But it's just in Essex.
We might be, but we're good at maps.
Yeah.
We're good at maps, and we're good at learning the systems. Because there's a pros and cons to everything. Yes, I've been to Germany many times, but when we go to Germany each year, we go someplace new. So it's a city I've never been to before. So we go to Nuremberg. That's my first time in Nuremberg. So yeah, as soon as we get out of the train station, we've never been there before. Map in hand, tourist map in hand, and never scared to stop and ask. Excuse me, we're looking for. But so yeah, we're doing the UK and Ireland next year. A year from now, we'll be getting ready to go, and then the year after that will be Germany, and then I don't know what's going to happen because I do have countries on the bucket list, for lack of a better term. I want to go to Scandinavia. Someday I want to get into Scandinavia. Luma, I had never considered Spain and Portugal, but why not?
Yeah, you want.
But again, I'm very fussy with foods, and I would drive people crazy. I drive families crazy. We just met our son's soon-to-be fiance's husband and wife for the first time, and she is from Costa Rica.
Colombia.
She's from Colombia, but family is now in Costa Rica or Colombia.
No, I think you're still in Colombia.
Okay, I thought there was a Costa Rica connection. She's
so.
from Colombia. So we ate at a Latino restaurant the first time we meet them. And Mexican restaurant. And I don't like Mexican food. And I tried to order something safe. I tried to order something safe, and still I wound up not eating it because I was trying to pick out all the peppers and I'm very simple. Meat and potato. And I don't want anything with the meat except cheese. Meat, potato. I don't care what form the potato's in. I don't care what form the meat's in. Steak, burger, schnitzel, sausage, bangers and, what is it, bangers and mash? What does John call it? Bangers and mash?
Yeah.
Well, greetings, Adam Cruz.
Hey guys, hit the like button. Hit the like button, you know.
Get an experience before you hire. Again, it is definitely an idea, and it's something we've got a year to prepare, but we like to prepare. We plan to have our full itinerary probably by Christmas time, so we know roughly where we're going, what we're going to do.
We're driving everywhere, and we won't be riding the trains.
Right, but still an itinerary. What city on what days.
Oh, for sure.
And where we're going to stay.
Right.
Because again, if their train system is that much more expensive, and the bus passes and local passes are more expensive, then it might behoove us to rent vehicles. But in Germany, 29,
Ooh, you have to drive on the other side of the road.
Oh yeah, trying to learn to drive on the other side of the road. That would be the danger. Because I'd be the ugly American going, hey, what's the matter with y'all? Drive on the other side of the road, you morons! You're on the wrong side of the road! Yeah, the Thalys would be a great train to take. But yeah, I mean, and France is definitely not off the list. We would love to go through France. We'd like to hit Paris. We were trying to see if we could squeeze in a trip to Paris on last year's trip that got canceled. Instead, we were going to go to Strasbourg, which is half German, half French. It's in France, but it's as much German as it is French. That whole Alsace-Lorraine thing. But we want to ride the rail jets. We want to get into Austria and ride the rail jets. Do not do it. I did that in England.
Do what?
Rent a car, try to drive on the other side of the road.
Yeah.
At least not upside down like Australia. That's a good one.
Okay.
At least it's not like Australia where it's upside down. Yeah, but that gravity helps you out. That gravity down there helps you out.
Explain that to my fifth graders.
What if we have it all wrong? What if actually the South Pole is the North Pole? And that actually Australia's on top? I mean, think about it. Just switch the globe over and we're the ones on the bottom.
Well, it might have had something to do with the pub.
Or what you did in the pub.
Well, yeah.
There's that beautiful ICE3. It's just waiting for its brethren to come home and join it.
Right.
And then we're going to have an ICE running day. We're going to have 4 ICEs running. That one's where is everybody? All the trains are all on non-viewable areas, even with all the cameras I have. Well, the ICE just left the station.
Merging a lot.
There we go, catching them up the ramp. The ICE going. The rail jet a coming. Wasn't that a...
It's hell, but the Bobby's really nice. That's good.
Wasn't that an Aerosmith song?
With the Bobby's in
The
it?
rail jet kept it coming? No, train kept it coming. Same thing, only different. Leave it to a woman, Andy, to put common sense on the situation.
Oh, snap.
The village view. There we go. Catching them passing each other. The IC and the ICE. Part of me wants to take that camera back down close, but I do like seeing the whole village.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Jerry just come
yeah, I was watching Heath's live stream earlier where it was supposed to be about are you safe with your layout. It developed into all kinds of other things. But oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a whipped husband. I'm not. If anything, I'm holding the whip, but that's a different story. And, but oh my God, the amount of women bashing in Heath's stream this afternoon was a little bit,
Oh.
was a little bit put offish for me. I know it's all in fun, but all the women this and women that, or you know, I hide what I buy from my wife and blah blah blah. It's like she knows what I buy. She's gonna come and see.
Yeah.
She's gonna look at the bank account and go, "What the hell did you buy?" And somebody's like, "That's
That
why
does
I do
happen.
cash. The cash had to come out of the bank."
Right.
Well, I
it's a
have my
little-
own account.
It is a little harder to trace, and yeah, a lot of people do have separate accounts.
But
It's missing a bridge in the layout. There'll be a bridge eventually.
well, Luma. Technically, I'm not. One bridge.
With a lot of cars. There's a traffic jam.
Yeah, there's a traffic jam because there's nowhere to go. That's why there's a traffic
Can't
jam.
get off the bridge.
They
That's
can't
the
get off the
problem.
bridge. There was road there at one time and it's gone. So
Did
I
you
do
say
have
hi
a
to
bridge.
Jerry?
I also have.
Did you say hi to Jerry?
Oh, hi, Jerry. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
I don't know.
Get off the way, woman.
I don't know what you're looking for. Be nice to me.
I was nice.
Oh,
Oh, where's that? Oh, wait, it's in here now. Jerry's here. I should be demonstrating proper organizational techniques of my. I also have from the UK a bridge to be built. I bought this a year ago. 11 months ago.
There's nowhere to put it though.
No, this one can go and was gonna go
Yeah,
like
no.
over on. It was gonna go on this side.
Hi, Jerry. Yeah. What?
Stupid tough. So yeah, I actually have another bridge.
Did you like the upgrade on your shirt?
The little star.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mentioned it to her yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
No, this is Laser Models. lasermodels.uk or .co.uk or whatever. But it's from the UK. I saw this on Green Hill Junction. I think that's the channel, Green Hill Junction. Great guy. I think he is Scottish, or is he Irish? I think he's Scottish. But anyhow, Green Hill Junction, awesome channel. And he had a really cool bridge here, and he bought this and he built one last year. And then I decided I wanted one that it would look cool on my layout. But a year later, not built. Surprise! Shocker!
Well, see, you could go on Heath's show and build it.
There you go. I'll show up on He's Monday modeling show and I'll build this.
It'll take like 3 seconds to put it together, won't it? Glue, 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 done.
I'm done. Goodbye, Heath. Yeah, you know.
Hey, you can just stick around.
I don't build well on camera.
Well, but it's only a couple pieces and glue, glue, glue.
Hand me one of those glue bottles over there. It doesn't matter which one. Yeah. Yeah, I would be building that on Heath's show going. And then you'd hear me cussing and cursing, and then it wouldn't be funny anymore.
He mutes you anyway.
What?
He mutes you anyway.
Well, yeah, he'd mute me, but you'd hear the first couple before he could get to the mute button.
Yeah, there's going to be a river there too, Tom. It just...
Someday.
Yeah. Yeah, someday.
I don't know, is there a good
take
view?
Apart the other room, so...
In this... I gotta go this way. In this picture, in this camera... Well, let's just go to that camera. There was going to be a river where you see those hills. Coming from the wall to in front of me. Because this corner you're currently seeing... My hand's still not there?
Nope.
Well, gosh, golly gee, Shane.
Oh, it's quite a ways to reach.
Oh, I thought I was
there you
closer
are.
to that.
All
There
right,
it is.
well.
Yeah, there's my hand. So it's right behind my computer, but I was going to build a river there and go straight to the back with the bridge. The problem is my ramp kind of ends there, but that is a someday. I'm going to, again, what's the easiest way to show this? Let's do this camera. All right, so the bridge. Okay, so you can see there's actually a ledge here. Okay, so from the level down here, and then this is my, actually my programming track, and then my computer screen, me and the better half. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down this level here. I'm going to cut down right here and then have that bridge over. But I've got to have multiple bridges because, as you can see, I've got six lanes of track.
Yep.
Now, as far as I know, there is no area in Germany where they run 3 lines over one bridge, so it would be complete. And then I've got 2 separates.
What? Be atypical? No way. Aprototypical?
So it would be completely non-prototypical. So that's, in the long run, that's where the river would go and the bridge would go across it. But it's trying to get it to work because I also have the track curving there. I have that track curving there, which would be trying to, exactly where do I fit the bridge in, and then the trains are coming off the bridge straight onto a curve. So yeah, that's someday. I mean, so many of my plans are someday, and the problem is, as time goes by, the shakes get worse, and someday is, I'm running out of some days where I could actually get down and do all that.
So soon. Someday soon.
So, you know, I don't know what I'm going to be honest, my main layout summer project is Fowler car system. June and July, I am redoing that Fowler car system. And then if I do get the Fowler car system where I like it, that whole side over there, where the station is in the Fowler car system, that all gets paved. That all gets paved and leveled off, so I can then start building all the shops and everything that are in that area. Well, hi, David Cook. Yes, oh my God, you are late, and I didn't notice you were late.
He's late.
Or weren't here. Sorry, I shouldn't say late, that you weren't here. He's one of the
I don't think anybody
longtime
was.
full supporters of this channel.
I
I mean,
didn't-
a lot of the guys here are.
They are, yeah. I don't think anybody's late to a live feed.
No, there's no such thing as late to a live feed. But so that is the one project I'm really planning on, is to sort out this Fowler car system one way or the other.
And make it look like a road.
And then get it all paved, because that entire area in front of the Delmenhorst station is one giant pavement. It's the road, a couple of little grass island things, and then a large parking paved area and the bus center. So that's the goal, is that by the time I go back to work in August, that area would be much more advanced done than it is. And then probably I'm retiring next year. That's when I will really start working on the Bremen. But it's been 2 Christmases now. Joyce bought me this big model that looks a lot like the Bremen train station. She bought it for me. It was an expensive model. I haven't built it yet. I need to get working on that. I need to learn computer design so I can build the Delmenhorst Town Hall and train station, or Town Hall and Water Tower complex. And yeah, Projekt 2022. Yep. So that's the big project. I even bought a I bought a mechanics sliding bed that bumps me up higher and is cushioned, so instead of laying on the floor under the table doing the wiring, I'm on something more comfortable, and hopefully that will help my nerves. But especially when I'm working up like this, my shoulders and my nerves go. I get like 5 minutes. Oh, David, don't apologize.
Oh, that's good.
Hopefully you had a great meal, because it's your guys' late dinner and bedtime and all that. Yeah, that one needs to go in the trash. Yeah, those 2 I could fix. This one, the bottom broke off. I think the bottom's still over there. And I thought maybe I could glue it back together. But I've got 4 of these buildings that came out crap, and then 8. Well, how many are over there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 buildings that came out all right.
You gonna spray paint them this weekend?
I might, actually. That was an idea. I might someday.
It's gonna be hot. Ooh, it's hot outside.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, and you know how much fun it is to work in the garage when it's...
Yeah.
But we'd have to get all the vehicles out, because I don't want this
That's not a problem.
paint kicking
Well,
back
Liz is
on.
on her little mini vacation.
Yeah, that's right. She's on her mini vacation. Well, we need to get her car out of the way and your car, the journey out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, both journeys, because they're both journeys.
Yeah.
Yep. But so yeah, that's the plans. But again, I am looking at like with the Bremen side, and I really don't have a camera that shows it well. The Bremen side, which is the undeveloped side, let's do this. I know which one works. Long view camera. There we go. This is what I call the Bremen side, because Delmenhorst runs to Bremen. So this is going to be pseudo Bremen or Hanover. And the platforms over there, they've shifted or something. I made them kind of tight, and now a couple of my full-scale 187 cars clip the corner, so I have to shorten them. But I'm not happy with those platforms anyhow, which are wood that I custom made, because the platforms over there are not uniform, because the tracks coming down in aren't uniform. So I am thinking over the summer, when I have a couple of days where it's not going to affect anything, where I'm going to rip out most of these lanes here and then make the track coming down uniform and put in different platforms over there. So that's another plan for this summer if I get to it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I can do that in a couple of days, and I'll just get better platforms. I made those myself out of wood. I put the first coat of paint on them, and then I have to do everything else. But I'm thinking of taking them out, so I can get longer and slightly narrower platforms in there, and even maybe curve the platforms around a bit. Oh, I know, Luma, but to do the wiring, I have to lay on the floor. The wiring is all underneath. The Fowler car wiring is all underneath. There's no sitting. The nice thing is this thing allows me to adjust, so I can recline all the way or have like 45-degree reclining. And that's a big deal. So I know, Luma, I've already been in a lot of pain for that.
Yeah, he's been down there before.
I've had two shoulder surgeries and mangled my back last year, so yeah, it's never comfortable. Oh, you're going up?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
All right. See everybody.
Right.
Choose.
Yeah, I was going to actually end it a little bit early today myself, because we got to decide what to do for dinner. And we got Liz, so it's 3 of us. So, I can move this back to me so I'm not leaning that way. Doobie doobie doo. There we go. So we'll go back to that one. Luma, I always feel it at the end of the day. It's frustrating. I mean, now losing a lot of weight has helped. Tim Wells. Tim Wells is back to work with his photography. So he's taking advantage and getting out there and trying to get his photography going. So yeah, he hasn't been doing a lot of his train stuff. Now maybe somebody knows more to it than that. All I know is he's posted a couple of things on his photography thing, and he's been going out doing the photography. So if there's more to the story, then I don't know. Maybe a guy to ask is Norman Rowe, because Norman and a couple of people, even a couple of people in here, they talk to Tim via text message and that. I don't. Maybe I should. I don't. I'm very bad about that. I take 2-3 days to answer emails. I got an email from my friend Herb and Nancy up in Canada earlier this week, and I haven't responded yet, and I need to. I always push it off till when I've got free time, and this week it's not been free time. Literally, Monday we had the insulation guy come in after work, so I had to hang out and as he goes through the house and talks about where we need to do the insulation issues. Then we had the plumber. Was the plumber Tuesday? Yesterday was the bug guy, the exterminator, because we have a service to come in, and they're rebuilding our road in front of our house. They're rebuilding it, and we have a problem with ants and a couple other bugs yearly, and so now we have a service, so they come in. So we had that guy. The lawn guy came in this week. I have my yard sprayed by a company. I mow my lawn and do all my own. And then we were planting and got our planting done. So again, I get home at 3, but I don't get a chance to rest until 7 or 8, and then I go to bed 8:30, 9 o'clock American time, Sundays through Thursdays, because I get up before 5 o'clock. I get up at 4:45 a.m. and I go to bed about 9, hoping to get 6 to 7 hours sleep. All right, Kieran, you're leaving. Bye-bye. Take care. Thanks for stopping in. And then Wednesday was the birthday party for her brother. And again, that was hard to do. Again, we already talked about it. Her brother is dying of ALS. And it will be sooner rather than later. And so it was a birthday party, and that's very awkward when everybody's singing happy birthday, and you can imagine why. And then there's just other things involved with it. And I probably could talk about it because nobody on her side of the family watches my streams. They know I have a YouTube channel, but they have never come on. They don't watch it. They don't look at it. They ignore it. No, I don't mind people. You know, I'm not a jealous man. People could talk about my wife all the time in a good way. If you talk about her in a bad way, you might piss me off. But she's an amazing woman. And I've never been comfortable sitting around with guys when the guys are doing the man talk and knocking on women, and not because I'm some sort of weak, submissive male. I'm not. I'm 6'4", and I can take most people out with one punch. It's not in my nature to do that, but I've had to do that in my life. I'm a gentle monster, and I do have a very bad temper and dark side, which fortunately for her, she's only seen when it came out in other situations against other people a couple of times, which she did not like seeing. Anyhow, she's, you know, we can call women the weaker sex, but I watched that woman almost bleed out giving birth to our second child. She almost died. And a year later, she's ready to have another kid. We could talk all we want about it, but, you know, we always talk about somebody being tough, you know, and says, oh, he's got a pair of balls on him. Come on, guys, balls are weak. You know, if a guy sees another guy get hit in the balls, we react in pain. But the woman parts, they take a lot of abuse and keep coming back for more. And that's both a dirty joke, but also a statement of reality. I've watched that woman give birth 3 times, going, oh, hell no. Now, part of its nature, she's built to be that, but doesn't take away from the fact, and she did it without meds, by the way. But that woman almost died giving birth to our second child. And that's not something anybody should ever see. When 1 minute's like, okay, we're pushing, and the doctor's joking with you, hey, come here, you want to catch? And you've already been through that with your first kid, and all of a sudden they're chasing you out of the room and screaming, we're hemorrhaging bad, we are hemorrhaging bad, get the blah blah T-bit here, blah blah. It's like, what's going on? Oh, nothing, sir, please, just step out of the way right now. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think she's a lucky woman. She's got a guy like me. But, you know, we catch both ways. A lot of people look at us and go, lucky. A lot of people can't stand us because, oh, they're such and such. And we're not a perfect couple. We have our arguments. We have our fights. But we have rules, you know, very early on we have rules of engagement about arguing and fighting. We have, you know, there are certain words you don't say, and there are certain things you don't say. But the thing is, we're supportive of each other's, you know, she doesn't look at something I do and go, that's stupid. You know, she'll tease me about, no, you don't need another train. And she'll say, you don't need another train, you don't need another train. And then she turns around and buys me another train. I did not want a freight train. I was never going to buy a freight train. And I know a couple of you have asked about freight trains. But I have a freight train because she decided I needed a freight train. So go figure that one out. But yeah, she's, you know, I don't compare wives. I know some of you have been married and divorced and have had bad experiences, and I understand that. I'm grateful I didn't have that. The thing is, to sound stupid and to turn this train show into something else, we're best friends first. I would rather hang out with her than any of my guy friends. I would rather. Now, that doesn't mean I want to go everywhere she goes. Like if she's going out with her sisters or she wants to go shopping, I do not want to go. And by the way, I'm more the stereotypical woman shopper in the sense that I go shopping, I take for hours shopping, blah, blah, blah. She wants to get into the store, spend as little money as possible, and get out. I'm the one going, oh, I want that, and that, and that, and that, and that. That's why she has the money. Because I would have us in the poorhouse tomorrow. But she knows if I want to do something that I'm going to do it, and she might as well kind of jump on board. She don't want me buying my hot rod cars when I was doing cars, but she supported it. Yeah, there's that. So yeah, you guys are all in that same one. Yeah, I wake up when you go to bed. But yeah, but I would rather hang out with her. And we do sports together. We play sports together, bowling together. And is she into my train hobby? No, but you'll notice she comes down to every stream now. She comes and hangs out for half an hour, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. But the thing is, she is what you see there. That is Joyce. There's no pretensions. She doesn't wear makeup. I don't think she's worn makeup since our wedding, and even then she wore a little eyeshadow. She never wears makeup. She rarely wears any jewelry. She's basically a tomboy is the term we use. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that never asked her out that missed out. That's all I'll say. No guy ever asked her out in high school. No guy ever tried to hook up with her. And I was on the opposite. I kept asking girls out and getting rejected and told no. So she was the first girl to say yes, and that even isn't quite true. It's not that she said no. Neither one of us said yes to our first date. We said yes to going on to the date, but we didn't know the other person was going to be there. We met on a double-blind date. We were both filling in for other people on that date, and we hit it off. And then I was too scared to ask her out. That night, I was too scared to ask her out. After that first date we had, where it was a blind date, the whole ride home, I'm like, ask her out, ask her out, ask her out. And we're being driven home by somebody else. Ask her out, just ask her out. You had a great time. She was really cool. Ask her out. I was too scared. As we're pulling into my driveway, she grabs my hand and says, "Here, I had a great time." And she started to write her phone number on my hand. And I said, "Don't write it on my hand." "What? I'm sweaty. Write it on paper. It'll get smeared on my hand." So she ripped off a little piece of paper from the dance card for the dance we went through. She wrote her phone number down. And she likes to tell people I waited 3 days to call. I was gone the next day, which was a Saturday, and I called her on Sunday, so it was 2 days. Yeah, and Joe, I know what you're saying. I would like to be richer on the other side, but yes, if you can only have one, this is the better thing to have when it comes to wealth. I'd rather have my wife and kids than the mansion and a divorce, you know? Although there are times when I'm really want to buy a train and can't afford it, that I'm like, maybe I should have stayed with law, or maybe I should have stayed with the military, where I would have made a lot more money. I had chances to make money other ways, but I was young and stupid. Hey, hello, Chuck's away. I did not see you. I caught all that. But yes, yeah, you guys, you're going to get me talking on her now. And I'll make some of you sick, because we've got a lot of history together, 38 years together. But it also my parents fought every day and were married 54 years until my dad died. Her parents were married 55 years before her father died. She's got one sister that's been married 45 years. No, 48 years, 49 years. They're going on 50. So it runs in her family. Oh, Woodgate is you. All right, dude. I can't keep up with all the identifications. Now you're killing me. I missed it if you typed, it's me, Christopher. Otherwise, you're just not screwing with me. So if you're giggling, I hope so. What name shall I come in next? I did not catch that was you, Christopher. Okay. So you're watching more flying shows now that they're going back on. Cool. But, so yeah. It was a weird week after ending the Matt Clark stuff and really just being busy with, you know, and again, I'm also lazy. Okay, I'm lazy. And it's hard to motivate myself to do something, especially late in the evening. I had to motivate myself yesterday after the exterminator came and left. And then Joyce came home and we did some things. I kind of had to, it was 8 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock in the evening, and I'm winding up. I'm starting to turn everything off in the brain and get ready to go to bed. Start getting ready to go to bed at 8 o'clock. I know it's early, but like I said, I get up at 5. But I like to be in bed by 9 o'clock in the evening. So if somebody's doing a live feed and it's 10 o'clock my time, I'm typing from bed because I couldn't sleep. But anyhow, but I had to come downstairs and set the live stream up. I had to, okay, what trains am I going to run today? Because I do try to change it up. Some guys stay, some guys get moved. So I had to do that. And it takes about 20 minutes to 45 minutes to get everybody on the right tracks. I do a little bit of shunting. No, I don't videotape it. I do a little bit of shunting to move one guy in and one guy out. And then I test run everybody. I run them for 10, 15 minutes to make sure I didn't leave any points open like what happened last week. Because I know I closed that point. What I'm thinking about is I wound up doing early in the live feed, I was showing, no, it wasn't my live feed, somebody else's live feed. I went on and was talking and was showing them my Central Station 3. It was Heath's. And I went on and was showing them my Central Station 3. And I was messing with the turnout buttons. And I swear I hit close on it. And that must be what it was. That I hit the button but then it activated or something. But anyhow, so 2 of my trains bumped yesterday. They weren't at full speed, so it wasn't a big deal. But yeah, I bumped 2 trains last week. Okay, well, it is 6 o'clock for somebody who said he was going to try to get off early. It went from 5:30 to 6 o'clock like that. Yeah, I do need to kind of wrap this up, and rambling on and on, as always I do, which is why I'm always amazed people come and hang. But of course, you guys can entertain each other. Well, of course, most people have logged off already. But hey, it is what it is. So anyhow, once again, everybody, thanks for spending part of your Friday evenings here on my YouTube channel. Again, if you get a chance, just go back and make comments on the Matt Clark stuff, if you would. Just things you like, things you thought were funny and stuff like that, just because that'll give me an idea of where I want, what I want to do, where I want to go, what, you know, try to get a gauge of people's humor in that. Again, I'm not trying to get subscriptions or that stuff. I'm non-monetized. I'm not even close to monetizing, although Joyce wants me to monetize when I get there. But yeah, just let me know what you thought of all of it, different episodes, some of the best jokes, because I have some of mine, and I'm always curious to know what other people thought. Now that it's been a week since the climactic ending of it all. So anyhow, I'm going to say to all of you, Auf Wiedersehen and Tschüss. And